land of Umuofia was home to some of the greatest warriors to have ever lived. The community itself was prosperous, and a very proud one, full of rich traditions. They were feared by all of their neighbors. Nobody wanted beef of these people. Whenever they would go to war, some of them came back with the heads of their enemies. Now in this village we meet a man named Okonkwo. His background is not one to be invaded. He literally came from nothing. His father, Unoka, was the opposite of a great man. He was lazy and had little to no possessions. Compounded by the fact he was deep in debt, he has nothing but get insult to injury. Unoka died from swelling, which was considered an abomination to the land, so he could not be buried among his tribesmen, but rather thrown into the evil forests. This is a situation Okonkwo is coming from. Despite all of that, Okonkwo was able to make something out of his life, and not just something, but became a wealthy man, a respected warrior. He got to a position where he was able to marry 3 wives and could provide for the whole family. That is the type of man Okonkwo was because of the bitterness he felt towards his father. He was determined to raise up his sons to be real man. He hated weakness and lazy man whom he would refer to as women. He was a bit too prone to violence and ruled his house with an iron fist. Okonkwo has a son called Nwoye. He tries his best to raise him to be strong. He even beats him when he detects a hint of weakness. One day, news comes to the clan. The men from Baino, a neighboring village, have killed a girl from Umuofia. This did not sit well with the people of Umuofia, and trust me, the people of Baino were sweating buckets. Fortunately for them, Umuofia did not wage any needless wars when a peaceful solution could be found. Okonkwo is sent as Missouri, and the Umuofia demand a girl from Baino to replace the one who was killed, and a boy whose fate will be decided. This boy is called Ikemefuna. Okonkwo is to take care of the boy in his house. The boy is at first confused as to why he was taken from his family, but eventually adjusts and integrates into Okonkwo's family. He particularly becomes very close with Nwoye, Okonkwo's son. Okonkwo also becomes very fond of him, although he never shows it because the Ikemefuna becomes a sort of a mentor to Nwoye, and he can see Nwoye is maturing as a result of Ikemefuna's influence. Now after 3 years, one day a village elder comes to see Okonkwo. He tells Okonkwo that it has come time for Ikemefuna's death. So Okonkwo tells Ikemefuna that he is being taken home, so they begin the journey after traveling for some time. Ikemefuna is ambushed by the man. He tries to run towards Okonkwo for help, even calling him father, but Okonkwo is no hero. He cannot go against the tribe. He deals the final blow and the Ikemefuna dies. So basically Okonkwo is the one who kills Ikemefuna for the next few days. Okonkwo is troubled. He's even unable to eat. He wonders why Ikemefuna's death has affected him so much. He's wondered why. During a friend's daughter wedding, his best friend daughter Obiarika, who is getting married soon, Okonkwo attends diary negotiations. It is through speaking with Obirika and occupying his mind with customs and other things that he is able to return back to his normal state, just as he's able to get back to our normal sleep routine. He is woken up early in the morning by his second wife, Ekofi. Favorite child, Azinma, who also happens to be Ekofi's only child, is very ill. Now the story of Ekofi is one of sadness. Ekofi had not had much luck when it came to children. She had borne 10 children, and out of the 10, 9 had died. It was believed that she used to give birth to a wicked child, who after dying would return to its mother's womb to be reborn and die again. Such a devilish child, wanting to cause the mother grief every single time. Now this is the 10th child. It was almost like a curse, but it seemed as Inma was going to live long, for she had taken part in a ritual that would sever the link. Ekofi was still very worried though, as Azinma was her only hope for living now. Okonkwo gathers herbs and prepares medicine for his daughter. She eventually regains her health. Time passes, and things aren't going too bad for Okonkwo and his family. His buddy Obiaka's daughter gets married, and they have this huge ceremony. Okonkwo is very involved in everything since he is good friends of the Rika one day, the village crier. This is the guy who breaks news of death, announces the death of Ezidu, one of the great elders of the tribe because of his prominence. There was going to be a huge ceremony for his funeral. There's a lot of dancing at the ceremony, and the men, like it's custom for them to do, are firing their guns in the air. Okonkwo is one of those men now. Okonkwo, as much as he was such a great warrior and everything, He was not the most skilled marksman. This was an area he was very poor. His gun explodes, and as a result leads to the death of one of his Idu's sons. Yes, Okonkwo accidentally kills the son of the man they had gathered together to save your... Well, to this incident leads to Okonkwo going into exile. He has to be away from the clan for 7 years. That is the tradition, because it was an accident. He still has to go and stay away for 7 years. It's sort of like penance. He packs his belongings, takes his yams to Iberica, and has to say goodbye to the place he has called home for so long. Well, at least till his exile is over, he decides to go to Manta, his mother's homeland. One of his uncles Uchendu takes him in and helps him adjust. He tries to encourage him and tells him to avoid falling into despair. Okonkwo is becoming a better man at this point. Everything that he has worked his whole life for, all the titles he was to be honored with, now seemed like a pipe dream. During his time in exile, his friend Obiri Cup visits him once in a while. One day he comes with news of a neighboring village that was wiped out by the white man. Okonkwo thinks that the men of that village were fools because they hadn't prepared for war. No man should ever be caught like that. Nothing of the sort would ever happen to Umuofia, the land of the warriors. That's what Okonkwo thinks to himself. Soon after the white men make their way to Manta, Okonkwo doesn't think much of them in the new religion they've brought. That's until one day he finds out his son, Nwoye, has joined this new faith. Okonkwo is filled with rage and almost strangles Nwoye to death. He disowns Nwoye and grows very animus towards this new religion. He feels very unlucky. Why did he have to get such a weak son? He wants it destroyed. He doesn't understand why the clan is not taking action. His 7 years of exile are coming to an end. He prepares to go back to Mafia. He is very excited. He might be able to get his position in the clan back. He will be in the presence of real men who don't cower in the face of new threats. Little does he know that Umuofia is not the fortress. He thought it was. The white man has brought with him not only his religion, but also a government that does not understand or respect the Igbo customs. The new government system uses African messengers to the court called Kotma to terrorize the locals. So basically these are like the prefix back in school, how though the administration would use them is disgusted by the state of things. This is not the home, he remembers. Tensions continue to rise. Some members of the tribe have defected and joined the church. The tribe is split. Can a war really break out where our brother will raise swords against each other? Who will ignite the fire? The festival of the Earth Goddess, a festival where the masked ancestral gods roam around, is taking place. It happens to take place on a Sunday, and a scuffle ensues caused by one member of the church. He unmasks one of the gods, which the Igbo believe has killed the god. This is a grave sin. This incident leads to the clansmen storming the church and burning it down. No one is more pleased by this event than Okonkwo. He wants more to be done unbeknownst to him. The enemy they face is one like never before. This is a ruthless one, with no respect for their culture. Okonkwo and 5 other men are soon after imprisoned and have to pay a fine to be released during their time in captivity. They undergo a lot of torture and humiliation. After their release, Okonkwo is filled with the rage. Like never before, he has resolved in his mind that if the clan does not do anything, he shall enact his own vengeance. A meeting is held by the elders of the tribe to deliberate on what next. Okonkwo and Obierika are in attendance as the meeting is going on. 5 court messengers appear and demand that the meeting be halted at once. Okonkwo is having none of that. Not today. He is a man on a mission. No looking back. Give me liberty or give me death. He strikes down one of the messengers with his machete. That's the call to action. The people should rise up now and kill the other messengers. But unfortunately, the rest of the clan are not as fired up as he is, and they let the other messengers flee. Okonkwo walks away in complete disbelief. Of course, Okonkwo's actions cannot go unpunished. The district commissioner shows up at Okonkwo's compound asking for a quote. A step forward, Obiarika is there, and he's in the company of other elders. He tells the commissioner that Okonkwo is not. There has he fled. Obiraka tells them that he will take them to where Okonkwo is. Maybe the commissioner's man might be of help to Abirika and the other clansmen. This sounds a bit odd to the commissioner. Where could Okonkwo be hiding that even the elders need some sort of help? He leads them through a path leading to a tree behind the conquest compound in front of them, is one of the greatest warriors of Umuofia, a man who had achieved almost everything just by sheer will. What went wrong for this man to reach to this point in life, where everything has completely fallen apart? Behold, Okonkwo is hanging from a tree. Everything was too much for him to bear. He is a nobody now in the face of the tribe, an abomination to the land. Even his best friend cannot touch his body. Hence why he needed the commissioner's assistance. Will be thrown into the evil forest, just like his father, and that is, things fall apart. Okonkwo's story is a tragedy of resistance and rigidity in a world of change. His life was defined by his struggle to escape the shadow of his father and uphold the traditions of his people. Yet, his inflexible nature and fear of weakness ultimately led to his downfall. In the end, Okonkwo became a symbol of the disintegration of the Igbo culture under colonial rule, his personal tragedy mirroring the broader collapse of his society. Thank for journey with us.